right. Welcome to
Hello.
extra. You fucking retard! Now I have to do it again. Shut the fuck
I
up.
was
Let
I was gonna say.
let me talk through it. Let me talk through it first. Hello, welcome to Extra Game Time. I'm your host Nolan, and here's your other host
Make,
Cameron.
make sure to sound as annoying and monotone as possible, please.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. But no, so I'll introduce myself, and I'll say, "Here's our other host Cameron." Cameron will say hello, and then I will say, "And this is our guest on the show today, Deacon, or
Deacon.
Deacon."
I'll go yippee ki yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, nigga. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Is a helicopter a car?
Shut up! Shut the fuck up. Okay. Three, two, one. All right. Hello, everyone. This is the Extra Game Time podcast. I'm your host, Nolan, and our other host is Cameron.
Hello?
And then the guest on our show today will be Deacon.
Hello. I
So,
am Deacon.
so today we'll be talking about the NBA. We're a little late to this, but we're going to do conference standings, awards, and how we think the playoffs will go. So we're going to start with the one seed in the West. Now, Deacon, what's your thought on this? Who's going to finish the regular season in first place?
Okay, so obviously I have to go with the Celtics because I
We're talking
don't
about the
think.
West.
Oh, the
We tried.
West.
It's okay. It's okay.
I didn't listen. Okay, so for me, the obvious first seed in the West, it's not really obvious because it really depends on how they play according to when
To,
DeMarcus Cousins comes back. Because if they are in a comfortable place, they're not going to try to go for first because they know they could beat
that's the thing
everybody.
is I don't think they need the home court because they're just more talented and their bench is pretty solid. And they can really just outshoot everybody. The Warriors can, and the Rockets' bench this year is significantly worse than last year.
Definitely. But like, I feel like it's first place is going to be the Warriors. Even if they don't try this, I feel like they still have a chance of taking first place. But if not them, the Rockets.
Hmm.
But if the Warriors don't come in first, they're going to be third.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I believe too. I think the Warriors will skate, and in this tough Western Conference, even with them skating, I'm sure they can get 60 wins easily, maybe a little less, but they don't have to try as they have four superstars and Draymond Green, who is a star in their starting lineup. They don't really have much to worry about coming to the playoffs. So I got the Rockets first because they need to try because they need the home court. Now, now for me, I think I'm gonna take Utah as my second seed, and I'll get to that. Like I said, I don't think the Warriors are gonna try, and I think Utah has the best home court advantage in the entire NBA, as that was proven on the GM poll that happened a couple weeks ago. Nobody wants to go to Vivian Smart Arena. You saw Westbrook in the playoffs; he had a complete meltdown in that arena.
Yeah, but that isn't necessarily the case for all teams. And
Yeah,
also, that is not necessarily the case this season. You never know what might come to it. Like,
yeah.
I feel like, yeah, they're going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be as hectic as it was last season.
I think Mitchell will take his next step, and Gobert will continue fighting for that Defensive Player of the Year because when he's on the court, they are the best defense in the league. He sat out 30 games last year, and
Oh, yeah, definitely. That that is so true. Like the fact that the without him on the court, what did they dropped to like fifth?
I don't know the stat for. I think it. I know they're still top 10, but I know the as soon as he came back in, they were first. And the thing with Rudy, and why I'm putting them here, is he has an intimidation factor. And
Oh, definitely.
like I said, against the top tier teams like the Rockets, the Warriors, we haven't really seen them play a healthy Celtics, the new look Toronto, except for in preseason, but that doesn't count. And then we Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid have never played a game to get against each other. So high
Yeah.
end against high end teams, we'll have to see as Chris Paul and James Harden were able to use the mid range to kind of avoid Rudy. but they're not. They're pretty much the only team that is that consistent from the mid range.
Uh huh. Yeah, I
So
agree.
I would have to see them finishing second, but I could also see them between 3 and 5 as well. Anywhere between 2 and 5. I mean, if the Rockets end up they don't care, I could even see Utah as the first seed. But I don't see that happening. I think 2 or 3 is a pretty solid spot for them.
So to
Yeah.
be clear, you're saying the Rockets are going to finish top of the West?
Yes,
What concerns me about them is they lost a couple key players this offseason,
they did. They
and they
lost.
really didn't pick up anything. I mean, they got Melo, yeah, but is that really an addition?
Yeah, and
This
then they.
this year
Well,
this year is going to be Melo's breakout season in the last 4 years.
so we're recording this into their first game, and he started 2 for 2 with a very contested 3 pointer that he hit. But my thing about them is so they got Melo and then traded for Brandon Knight and Marquise Chris, and they lost Luke. I believe it was Luke Mute, and then Trevor Ariza, who are both fantastic defensive players who can shoot the three ball. So that affects them defensively. And Melo is not the great defender. Marquise Chris fouls too much. I and because of how like they only do like 7-8 player rotations because that's what their coach does.
Mike D'Antoni.
Mike D'Antoni. So they they'll probably only be playing. They're starting who they started with tonight, Melo and Eric Gordon,
Yeah.
and probably stick to that. And that's just not enough defense in that lineup. However, I can't say though Harden has improved on defense, but I don't see them making a as good of a playoff run as they did last year. I can see them
Yeah.
falter, but I don't think they'll falter in the regular season. They can just outshoot everybody because it's the
Yeah,
regular season.
I've got to say, as each season that goes past, I think losing defensive players means less and less.
Yeah, if you can just outshoot everybody. But they also lost shooters with Ariza and Mabata Mute. They were 3 and D
Yeah,
playoffs.
but with the production you get from James Harden and Chris Paul, it's not really that big of a drop off.
Especially with the travels that Harden gets away with more than everybody else in the league. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was a play where he faked someone out and literally took a huge step to the right, and it wasn't called a travel. So if they let him get away with that,
Yeah, but the thing is, because James Harden is so good at confusing players, and when he does it correctly, doesn't travel, it's hard to call him for that because it looks like the exact same thing.
that's true.
Because he is so good at what he does, at being shifty,
Yeah.
he is going to remain like a top tier, and he is
So
going to continue scoring the ball.
before we get further down through this, something I want to say: there's 2 rule changes. One of them was that you can't kind of push a big someone when they're rolling to the rim to try to stop them from being able to get in the position through the pick and roll. So it's going to make teams who run the pick and roll a lot successful. For example, Utah is an example of that. Ricky Rubio and Gobert run the pick and roll a lot. And what was it? I think last season Rudy Gobert had the best points per possession in the pick and roll in all of the NBA with 1.5, I believe it was. So the pick and roll is gonna be way better this season. So those teams who really make good use of it
Yeah.
will be better. So, like I said, so let's get down to third. I think it'll be the Warriors if they don't care. But of course, if the Warriors decide they care in the regular season, they'll be the first seed, and that'll just be how it is. But I don't really see that happening. They don't need to.
Yeah. My actually projected third seed. What I think is, so I never really got to say my second seed.
Yeah, sorry.
If if it's going to be I think Warriors if the Warriors take the first seed, second seed is going to be the Rockets,
Yeah.
and then third seed, I believe that the this is pretty bold, but Pelicans.
See, I could and can't see that. Now I have the Pelicans. I think I have them barely making the playoffs. We'll see as time goes on. But it's gonna, let's see how if Anthony Davis can stay healthy, Drew Holiday can keep up what he did in the playoffs, and then Randall becomes the sixth man of the year candidate because they're starting Miritich instead of Randall, which I think is
Mhm.
good for the floor spacing because what they're also starting. Who's the guard that they have starting next to Drew right now?
I
Um,
don't know.
Alfred Payton, who can't shoot, so they can't have a bunch of non-shooters out there with Anthony Davis. So they're gonna, the starting lineup is Mirotic is playing the small forward, Payton at the two, Drew at the one, and they're still not playing Anthony Davis at center, which is asinine, and then each one more at the center. But an example tonight off the bench, Randall has 19 points in 16 minutes,
Which is pretty good.
which is fantastic.
Like that's the kind of thing, they have such a good primary scorer, like coming off the bench. That's why I think they have the potential of becoming a third seed this year.
I can see. I just don't see their defense holding up because
Because
Mirotic isn't a great defender, and Mirotic is a four, but he's playing the three right now, which I don't think is a good look for them. Because Mirotic is just hit, sometimes it's like he's moving in molasses on the floor.
uh-huh.
So it all depends. I could see that happening. I could also not see it happening. But
Well, it looks like the Pelicans are putting a beat down on the Rockets right now.
yeah,
So
100 to 78 in the third quarter. Like I was saying, the defense just isn't effective.
So I don't know.
Oh,
That's my prediction.
I made a mistake. They just had it mixed wrong. Each one more is at the three, and then Mirotic is at the four. I was just reading wrong. And the starters, just to be clear, the starters for the Rockets right now are Harden, Paul, Tucker at the four, Capella at the five, and Ennis at the three. So they're running three guards and then a forward and a center right now. And then off the bench, of course, they got Eric Gordon, Carmelo, Michael Carter Williams, and then Gerald Green taking minutes tonight. So, I mean, to be fair though, they also have Brandon Knight and Nene that can come off the bench.
Yeah.
So now on to the fourth seed. Westbrook didn't play last night.
And it doesn't. I don't think he's going to come back for like
I don't
he's going
think
to miss a couple of
I
games.
don't think I don't think he comes back for 20 games.
I don't. I don't. Uh,
I would say
that's
10 to 20,
questionable.
10 to 20 games. He just doesn't play at the beginning of the season. And if they start slow, they're not going to be able to catch up in this very overpowered Western Conference. So
Yeah.
this is my boldy is I have the Nuggets at 4. Um,
Okay. What I think is that's not that bold because of like what they are.
yeah,
They are such.
they
They
can
have
outshoot everybody. I bet they have the best points per 100 possessions in the league.
and plus with that the fact that they are such dominant scorers along with
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, who is a bucket getter coming
Who's
off
coming
the
off the
bench,
bench, as
who's
well
going
as
to take up that heavy like amounts of workload that they need to get.
I
Um,
I agree with all that, but as well as having Isaiah Thomas. Give me a second. Off the bench, that I believe they have Trey Lyles. Um, Trey Lyles off the bench, who's a good bucket getter. He can shoot the ball. Um,
and who I think is once he becomes healthy is going to start like to become a great player is where is he? Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. is going to be very very good, and I think he was the steal of the draft. Um, but also to think back though on what the Nuggets got. They're starting front court, no back court is Will Barton, Paul Millsap, and Jokic. Um, I think Millsap is the glue this year for this team, and then
Really,
yeah,
that's tough because he's got to stay healthy and he doesn't have a good history of that.
and then they got Jamal Murray and Gary Harris as the two guards off the
Yeah,
bench. They got
but
Trey Lyles, Isaiah Thomas, Juan Hernan
Gary
Gomez.
Harris is a shooter. He's gonna. I think
Yeah,
Gary Harris is gonna have a really good season this year.
I think so too. But the thing about Millsap is he's their best defender on the team. He's old and he's not quite the player he was, but he's the best defensive player on that team. And
Yeah,
that's where problems are going to create. Is like, yeah, they can outshoot people, but if they're not going to be able to stop anyone, people are going to be able to keep pace.
At the Rockets.
No, at the Rocket, yeah, well, exactly. And so you can't just because you're
You
out
can.
shooting people, it doesn't work in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
It
it
works in the
doesn't really
regular
work in the
season, which
playoffs.
is why I picked them as 4 because it works then. But I just don't see them making a good playoff run, especially if they start against who I have as my 5 seed. So
One thing about the Nuggets is Will Barton is a good. He's a like a lower quality starter, but I think if he doesn't get the certain amount of points they want him to, they're going to trade him about before the trade deadline
yeah,
because that he just signed a big contract like what last year or 2 years
yeah.
ago.
No, I think he got his bag this off season.
Yeah, it's the amount of money he is making is not worth the play
Yeah,
he's going to give them. He's going to get traded,
yeah,
and because it's such a big contract, they may be able to
yeah. Well,
get another
and
good like
something
a
we got to
high
say about
quality
the
player.
Nuggets is Jokic can go out and get a triple double every night if he wanted to. We always got to remember that Jokic is just that talented offensively. He can get it whenever he wants.
But I think
He has a stamina issue. He's a little fat. He's a little chubby. Not fat
yeah,
because he's in good shape, but he's a little chubby, and it
yeah,
hurt him. It hurt him in the long run of that season. So he's got to be in better shape for them to really play well. You know.
So,
yeah,
quick
I
question
agree.
for both of you:
Yeah.
what kind of production are you expecting from Michael Porter Jr. this season?
This
I
season
don't think.
no more than 5 points a game
Yeah,
if he gets in this
I don't
season.
even think they play him because they don't need to. I think they just make sure he gets healthy because it's a
Yeah,
back it's a back
I know
issue.
in college he had lots of injury problems and he couldn't quite get over that. So it'll be interesting to see all this hype surrounding him if he actually ends up paying off for them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
if he pays off, I think they they got the steal of the draft. I as soon as they drafted him, my thoughts were sit him all year. Don't play him. Don't.
if he gets to the production he was before the injury in college, he's going to be an up and coming star.
Yeah.
But the
He's,
thing is,
he's going to
with
be part of
his
the new wave that includes
with
Mitchell, Tatum, and Simmons.
with his history of injuries though, he may turn out to be another Brandon Roy,
Yeah.
which is tough to say, but it may happen.
But Brandon Roy was fantastic. So
He was
who's
good, but then
his knee
injuries got
injuries?
him.
So who's your 4 seed, Deke?
My 4 seed, the Jazz,
Okay, that's fair. And
and
we've
then
already talked enough about the Jazz, so you go ahead and
yeah,
do your 5th seed.
my 5th seed is I have it's tough between the Thunder. I just don't know what they're gonna be at the beginning of the season without Westbrook,
Yeah, that's always
and
scary for them. So, because they rely
that may
so much on what he can do for that team.
yeah, and if they come off to a rough start, they may not recover from it in time.
Yeah,
So it really just depends on how well he produces or and how quickly he returns when he comes back.
yeah. How quickly he can get back to getting triple doubles that don't help his team win.
And for if it's not going to be the Thunder, I think it may be who this is tough. If if the Timberwolves keep Jimmy Butler and don't trade him by the end of the season, 5th seed.
Really. So my 5th seed is if Westbrook comes back in time, the Thunder. But I don't know if he can save them enough, so I'm gonna have them a little. I think it's the Lakers.
Really?
Because they are so young and talented, and those veterans that they add to their locker room are going. I think off the court they're going to be very together. Of course, they have JaVale McGee and Rajon Rondo, Lance Stevenson. So off the court it's going to be great, but on the court, they're going to be fun to watch. Is what you have to say. Because,
Yeah.
but
The thing is,
what was it in a preseason game? Uh, they were shooting free throws and Rondo was there because he's a great rebounder for his position. And Paul Millsap went up to go high five the guy who's shooting the free throw, and fucking Rondo was blocking him.
Yeah,
You know,
he he is a character to watch, but he is also like a questionable player. He has off and on nights.
he had a really good series against the Blazers. We might not talk about as much as Drew Holiday and Davis, but he had a really good series against those Blazers as well.
For my sixth seed, I totally have the Supersonics. That that's my outrageous prediction.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I don't know. At the sixth seed, I'll probably
The reason why I put the Timberwolves up there mostly because Jimmy Butler, if he stays and they don't trade him, he's going to prove to them that they need him, and he's going to literally go off. He's going to have a possible, if he stays at the Timberwolves, he's going to have a All NBA first team type season.
yeah. And I've always seen that. And of course, he has to beat out Steph, LeBron, KD,
But as a
and Harden.
if they, yeah, it's tough. But honestly, if he can take his team to the fifth seed, he's going to win that because that is the rest of the team around him. Yes, Carl Anthony Towns is like an outstanding player, but he's
He
a
no,
center.
Karl Anthony Towns is an outstanding offensive player, and
He's
Wiggins
not.
has been a
He's not.
disappointment. All he can do is score.
He is not. Those two players aren't enough to get him. They. That's why they were off and on with the eight seed. Like they were so close, like 3 years in a row to getting to it, but they just never did
Of course, they made it to the playoffs this season because Jimmy
because
Butler
they
came
added
back and saved them.
Jimmy buckets. And if they don't have him, they're not in the playoffs. But if they do, I think they have fifth seed because he
Yeah.
gives their extra scoring and he has a little bit of that defense that they need.
Yeah. I say the Thunder get the sixth seed, even if
Yeah,
Westbrook's out. I just kind of that's when I'm gonna have to take him
those
out.
two are kind of for me interchangeable.
Yeah, of
Really
course.
just depends.
And then after the Thunder, because we talked about them, it's all depending on Russ. It doesn't matter how good PG and Schroeder play because that team relies on what Russ does. Because Russ
Yeah,
will put up 30 points a game, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. He proved that 2 seasons in a row. He'll put up at least 28 points and do that, even with help. So, but at my seventh seed, I'm probably gonna go to the Pelicans
okay.
for my seventh seed. We talked about them. I think Anthony Davis will have an MVP type season. I just don't think the rest of them will be able to do what they need to get higher. And let
Yeah,
me not be wrong. I think they'll win like 45 to 50 games. The issue is they're playing in the Western Conference. And it's going to take more than that to be a higher seed this season because of all the
yeah.
talent.
We haven't heard from Cameron Seeds in a while, and I feel kind of bad.
Well, he'll hop in every once in a while. It's okay.
I, oh my gosh. One thing for my seventh seed, I have the Lakers taking the seventh seed
Okay, that's fair. So far, we pretty
because
much have all the same teams in, just in different spots. So far.
and the main reason is
Oh,
because
except for you had the Wolves in. That's right.
I think that the Lakers, yes, they have LeBron, but the Western Conference is so much harder than the Eastern Conferences, so it's going to be a lot harder for him to carry a team to
Yeah.
that secure to them to that
See,
stature
for me though,
that
I
they
just
had
think
before.
Ingram, because you know
Ingram,
Ingram.
but
You know who Ingram really reminds me of? The only other 7 foot freak in the league. Well,
Giannis.
no, the one before Giannis, KD.
Oh,
He reminds me of
yeah.
KD. I just
One,
think he needs to thicken his frame a little more. And I think Kentavious Caldwell Pope is a great player for that team. He'll shut
one
up and he'll play defense and he'll shoot threes.
one thing I think
Kuzma,
about the Lakers and Brandon Ingram is that Brandon Ingram at his like point in his life, he is I don't think he's good enough to be a second scoring option. And
yeah,
that's going to put a lot of pressure on him, and I don't know if he can handle that pressure at the moment.
mhm,
So one thing is if he's going to have to deal with it for this year because they don't have a second scoring
yeah.
option. But next year after they pick up a big name free agent because
If
they're going
they
to have the
do,
money to.
if they do though, if
But
someone
I
wants
don't
to,
see. I don't see why they wouldn't. Who wouldn't want to come and play with LeBron and take down the Warriors?
Kyrie.
Or think, okay, okay, shut up.
I don't
But
think KD goes to Los Angeles either.
he probably won't. But it's just matter of the fact that if they can sign a big name free agent next offseason,
Yeah,
the Brandon Ingram is finally going to shine as a player because he'll be the third scoring option, so he won't have as much pressure to score the ball,
yeah,
but he'll still score the ball when they need him to.
yeah.
That's the whole thing
So
about him.
now
He
here come we're gonna
as
go
a young
down. Oh, you
okay.
go. We're gonna pretty
Well,
much.
as a young player, he doesn't have I don't think he has the confidence he needs to be a second scoring option, or even the like intelligence.
Yeah, I think he'll
But
get there though. I think he's a
he'll get
superstar
there.
in the
But
making.
he needs a little bit.
So now this is where we're gonna have to start cutting teams. It's our last like playoff seed in the West. Um, I think. I mean, this one's really hard for me because I got to take a
I
veteran
have my pick.
coach. I got to take. It's for me. It's between the Spurs and the Blazers,
Yeah,
but
the reason
I don't know
the
which one
reason
I'm gonna
why
pick.
I don't know about the Spurs is this is what I think they should do. Spurs should tank it this year.
They
Get
can't. It's
another good.
Pop's. It's Pop's last season. Next season or two, Pop are gonna be done, and that assistant coach that they have, the female, she's gonna be the next Spurs coach.
I don't know. It's just if they tank this season and get a good draft pick, it would be exactly like what they did with Tim Duncan.
Yeah, but they
They had
had a they had the
but
admiral though.
but hear me out. The Admiral was hurt, and then they ended up not doing good that season, and then they got Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they do now.
Well, the thing now though is they're running out of time. Paul Gasol's not got much life left.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why
Aldridge
in the
doesn't have much left. I mean, DeMar DeRozan
Aldridge
can put up
Aldridge
points,
has
but
Aldridge are going to be is going to stay the same quality player in for the next 2 to 3 years.
I think they're kind of in a win now situation, or just they're and be the Spurs for as long as you can be the Spurs until their talent pool starts drying up.
Yeah, I see that, but it's just the thing is, I think that with who they have currently, yeah, DeMar DeRozan's good, LaMarcus Aldridge is good, but they're not enough to take a team.
Yeah.
And then plus with the recent injury of who was it, Dejounte
Oh
Murray,
yeah, that's right. Dejounte's
he
down, and then they all three of
and then
their
they also
main guards are
lost
hurt.
yeah, they also lost the other guard. So now Patty Mills has to take
Yeah, you're
the
right.
thing
I'm
is
gonna I'm gonna
the
have to I'm gonna have to put the Blazers at 8 then.
the load of the starting point guard, and then he's not a starting point guard material
No.
because
So
he's good off the bench, yes, but he's not. It's just like my thing with Dennis Schroeder. He's a very low quality starting point guard, but he's a high quality
six man.
bench player.
He's a good 6 man. So yeah, me and you are agreeing. Blazers at 8.
Yeah, Blazers at 8, and then Spurs. What I hope they do is I hope they tank and
Yeah.
get a good draft pick, and then draft if they could, if it's possible. I would really hope they could get um a high quality pick to if they could get a Zion Williamson or like just one of those other up and coming big guys that's
Yeah.
out there in the league right now. Fuck, I can't remember his name, but
Uh,
he's going to be good. And if they get a guy, it's set for the next 2 years.
yeah.
If they can just tank.
So now
So
I mean I got the Spurs at 9. If they try, do you as well? If they try, they're gonna
um
get 9.
no
Really?
no
Okay.
honestly nobody believes in them, but
The
I have
Mavs,
Phoenix.
Phoenix. See, I'm on the
The
opposite end
Mavs,
of the
okay.
spectrum. I got
The
Phoenix
Mavs,
at 14 in the West.
holy okay. So yeah, they have a young core, but I feel like Devin Booker could do it if he really wants to.
I'm not saying that they can't do it. I just think that they shouldn't. Give it one more year to get everyone to develop because Josh Jackson's good and
Devin Booker's good.
they need a point
DeAndre
guard.
Ayton's
They don't have a
Devin
point guard.
DeAndre Ayton's already good.
Booker can score. He's not a good defender, but he can score. Josh Jackson can do both. He's a better defensive player than scorer, and Aiton will be a fucking he'll be an 18-10 player to start, but I see him averaging 22-10 like most of his time in the NBA. So, but I don't see them winning a whole lot of games, which is okay. They need to go into the draft and get a point guard now because they don't have any since they traded
Yeah.
Brandon Knight.
If they do choose to like if they do have a bad season, they need to draft a point guard. It's not okay. We'll draft somebody. They need
No,
a point guard
they need a point guard
that
because
can
they got
take the
T.J.
load.
Warren. T.J. Warren's a fine four.
Yeah.
But I think they're
The
starting Ariza at the 3, Jackson at the 4, Aiton at the 5, and I think Booker's playing the 1, and then
would
Tyler Eulis, I think, is it? I don't know, but I don't I see that they don't have the depth. I see them getting 14th, and of course I got Kings last.
yeah, in the West, yeah. Actually, the Mavericks may surprise people this year.
I think so too. I have them and the Clippers pretty much tied for 10. I think the Spurs, the Clippers, and the Mavs are all in like the same right now. They'll be anywhere between 9 and 11. And
Okay,
then
I can see that.
I got the Grizzlies at 12, and the same thing with the Timberwolves actually. So I got the Grizzlies at 13. The the Timberwolves, Clippers, Spurs, and Mavericks are all of them could push for the playoffs, but I think they'll be in that 9 to 12 range, just because of how good the Western Conference is and how they just can't match up.
Yeah, I agree.
I just for sure think that the Suns and the Kings are the worst in the conference, which is, I mean, it's hard because it's the Western Conference. So
Yeah. Um, one thing is that the I feel like in the near future that I think in give it 3 or 4 years, the Kings start
yes,
fighting for the eighth seed.
I maybe sooner than that.
Maybe sooner. It
There
just really depends on
they're a couple
how
pieces away. Vladi
it
Divac
really.
has to not mess up, which he has done a lot.
Yeah,
What he needs to not do is, and what I've heard people think he's gonna do, he's gonna trade a bunch of young pieces for a superstar that won't work. That won't work out. So he just needs to bait on his young core, let them tank a little bit, let them figure out how to play. But they got Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, a couple other guys. I can't think of their names. Oh, the Aaron Fox. They got some good young players. Just give them some time.
yeah,
An interesting talking point, I think, for the West specifically is potential landing points for Jimmy Butler.
Yes. So
I don't think he goes to a Western Conference
I don't think so either. Because I mean, uh,
if they trade him.
yeah, if they trade him. So for me, I think he just shuts up. He keeps doing what he's been doing for like the past month, but he does that for an entire season. And if they don't trade him, he walks away. But he's just gonna make that locker room as toxic as possible because he doesn't want to be there. And
Yeah,
what they've talked about is that fucking Cat and Wiggins will stay up all. Their Cat literally tweets about him staying up all night playing Fortnite or Modern Warfare 2 when it was remastered. Not remastered, but like when it was cross compatible on Xbox One.
yeah,
That's not Jimmy. Jimmy Butler uh, is a gym rat. He's always in the gym, and he hates that those people are that Wiggins and Towns aren't taking it seriously enough. Because I that's why I don't have them making the playoffs. I just think that it's just not going to work. And the
yeah,
reason Butler wasn't traded earlier is because Thibs is their general manager, Thibodeau.
yeah.
It just he wasn't going to trade him unless they gave him a lot, and Jimmy Butler's only he's only like a 1 year deal, so it just wasn't going to happen.
And though the trade, what was the trade that the
The Heat had, I think it was
and
like Josh
Justice
Richards,
Winslow?
yeah, Justice Winslow, and I think a first round, but they wanted Josh Richardson as well, so that wasn't going to happen. So they just kept falling through because Tibbs was asking for too much.
Yeah.
So let's start talking about the East. We're just gonna, because it's not as deep as the West. We're just gonna go 1 through 8.
Yeah, we should like fly right through this.
Yeah. We're both in agreement. Number one's the Celtics.
Yeah,
Easily.
definitely.
Easily. I think
And then
I think Toronto can put up a fight because they have the best
I don't
player in
even
the
have.
conference. Kawhi Leonard, if he's healthy and if he tries, the best player in the conference.
Okay, big boy, making some pretty big accusations here.
But
I don't know.
he has the experience Giannis doesn't have, and Kyrie's great, but he's not the best player in the conference. You see the performance he put on last night? He got carried by second-year player Tatum.
But
So,
there's a reason.
Kyrie is
Nobody,
coming back from knee surgery, and
nobody has an outstanding first game coming back from an injury. Nobody does, especially when you've been out of the game for that long. Look at didn't have that good of a game either, and he's been out for a year.
yeah,
Kyrie has been out for what
4 or 5 months.
about half a year.
So that's fair. Like I said, I think that's fair. But I just think Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard, when he was playing on the Spurs, he the last season he had with the Spurs where he played the full season, he finished third in MVP voting. There's a reason.
Yeah, but
He
it's going to
goes
be
out
hard
and he
for.
plays.
But think about this: how long has he been out? Like
A year. He actually
a
played
year,
like 10 games last year.
but he didn't do that out good.
Well, that's because he was on a minutes restriction, but yeah, he didn't. But that's because he also didn't want to play for the Spurs because their medical team was horrible. Like I said, Danny Green played the entire season with a torn groin. He goes to Toronto and the doctor's like, "Dude, you have a torn groin. They didn't tell you had that." It's like, "No, I just played on it." So
Yeah,
you got I think Kawhi will ball out this season, and
it's
he's
going
in,
to be hard. He has to get back into the flow of the stuff. Like he hasn't.
he looked pretty good. Was he doing tonight? Last time I looked, he was doing pretty good.
Yeah,
Let me take a look. Okay, so they ended up beating the Cavs, which is good.
but think Nolan, the best player in the conference doesn't always lead you to a first seed or a
Yeah.
second seed. But it also helps that he has um it also helps that he's there.
I'm kind of mad that they don't show this any of his defensive stats. They just have rebounds, assists, and points. But tonight, Leonard had 13 rebounds and 24 points in 37 minutes.
Um
I mean, Kyle Lowry did have more points, but Kyle Lowry is kind of a 3-point specialist. So
Kyle Lowry is going to pick up the slack of the scoring that they don't get. Like DeMar DeRozan is a better scorer than Kawhi Leonard.
yeah. Well, and what was nice though is they had Van Fleet get 14 off the bench.
That is actually better than I thought he would have gotten.
Ibaka got 9 off the bench. OG Anunoby got 4 off the bench. But OG Anunoby is a defensive player, so that's good.
Kawhi Leonard had. I don't think he had any steals this game. He
I
didn't
don't
have
think
any
so either.
steals,
But
any blocks.
I mean, but I mean, I think they did good. They ended up beating the Cavs team, who I don't think they're as bad as people think they are. Love had 21. Cedi Osman had 17. Hill had
What?
15. Clarkson had 15. Sexton only played 18 minutes. They should just start him, but he only played 18 minutes. He had 9 points and 3 rebounds.
So for me, I'm just going to keep it rolling.
Yeah,
I have Toronto as a third
two.
or second seed. Them and the 76ers are interchangeable for me
Yeah,
because the 76ers have something that I feel like the Raptors don't have as
yeah,
much of.
yeah. But the Raptors
They,
have the second best bench in the NBA.
yeah, that's true, but it's still like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I feel like when it comes down to it that the 76ers have a better scoring ability
Oh
in
yeah.
my opinion.
Well, I got
And
Raptors Sixers, so I
okay.
think the Raptors are just gonna be a little better. They got a better coach than they had last year. I just think it works out for good for them. Also, they picked up Danny Green, who's a really good perimeter defender, and so their perimeter defense is fantastic. Valanciunas will get there, and I forgot who their starter was tonight, but pretty good defensive player. He's working on his offense. Um, so yeah, Sixers third. I think Simmons and Embiid will have a good season as long as they stay healthy. I think that they should start Redick instead of Fultz and have Fultz come off the bench. I think Saric will win. Well, not win, but I think he'll be in the running for most improved player. Saric is really good. Um, yeah, fourth seed. I got Pacers.
Okay, I
Well,
have them or
the Bucks.
ooh shit. No,
Yeah,
I had the Bucks as I had Bucks
lower.
actually. I had Bucks as I was originally had them as 6, but
I
I
got I,
was looking.
I got them
I
at
was
five.
looking.
So
I was looking at their Wizards lineup, and I don't know how well they're going to do.
I don't. I think there will be more locker room problems like there was last year. But my thing with the Bucks is they actually have a coach now. I love Jason Kidd to death. He's one of my favorite players to ever play because I like his personality. But he wasn't a good coach. They have Mike
No, he wasn't.
Budenholzer now, who's a fantastic coach. And I
Which is
think
what they've needed.
and I think that they'll run more schemes. And with Middleton, they went out and got a
So I
center
have,
in Brooke Lopez. I think who tore
but
his up.
he's only for points. He has no other ability.
Yeah, that's fine.
What like two
That's all
years
they need.
ago? 2 years ago, last year, he only averaged 4 rebounds a game.
Yeah. Well, and that's but
Since then, he's nothing.
Middleton and Giannis can make up for those rebounds easily.
Yeah.
Um, listen, they have that guard out of Virginia that I like a lot. He won Rookie of the Year over Embiid. Brogdon, great
Oh
three
yeah.
point shooter, great defender. I think, and of course they got Brandon Knight. If Brandon Knight decides he actually wants to play ball this year instead of just hanging out like he did last year, I can see him going good. I just think the Pacers are just better. Their bench is really good. Their starting lineup.
Miles Turner is going to impress people this year.
I think that they should just go big and start Turner and Sabonis at the same time. They won't, but I think they should.
That's tough because then having one of them come off the bench
Is
is a very
having
very
Sabonis come
good.
off the bench worked super well in the playoffs.
So it's just something that you got to leave up to the coach, but
Yeah,
he
but
should
they
know
have a
what's
good coach. They do. So
for me. My 6th seed will probably be either the Wizards or the Pistons. If the Pistons will make the 6th seed if Blake Griffin stays healthy this whole season. He's
okay.
been known to battle injuries, but if he doesn't, they're not making the playoffs.
So for my sixth seed, Duke, I got the Heat. I think they're just a solid team. They don't really have the issues that the Wizards have in the locker room, and they're not reliant. If someone gets injured, they have another guy. It's Dwayne Wade's final season. I think they just go out and get the sixth seed.
Yeah.
And Wade does his whole, his last goodbye, his goodbye tour to everyone.
For 7th seed, I have Wizards, and then 8th I have Heat.
So for me, I got Wizards, and then I got the Cavs as my 8th seed. People are gonna like that. I think Kevin Love goes back to 22 and 12. Kevin Love before he
You
came.
mean you mean Timberwolves?
Timberwolves. T-Wolves love.
That was my favorite Kevin Love. I
I,
haven't really liked him as much since, but
that's because when you play with LeBron, if you play the four and and you're a post-up player, he wants you to go sit in the corner. You saw that happen to Chris Bosh too. Chris
yeah,
Bosh wasn't a three-point shooter. He learned to be a three-point shooter.
that is true.
So I think Kevin Love will show out. I like Sexton. I like Cedi Osman. I like George Hill, even though he's washed. I mean, Hood's not going to play defense, but he'll be good for 18 points in the regular season. And J.R. Smith, and Tristan Thompson won't score, but he'll play pretty all right defense and get you a bunch of boards.
I think he averages 13 boards a game this year.
So I just think that they take the eighth seed. And of course,
Yeah, I mean, you got to think there's not especially a lot of competition for that 8th seed in the
yeah,
East.
the Magic.
Yeah.
I don't think the Magic, the Nets, or
The
the
Magic
Bulls.
They're
will
gonna
do.
start out hot and then go to doo doo.
Yeah, and then the Bulls are young. Give the Bulls a couple years, but they'll be real good. The
And
Nets, the same thing
the
with the
thing,
Nets as well.
the, the thing about the Bulls is that they have two defenders on that team,
Yeah,
Chris Dunn and Wendell Carter Jr. And with Laurie Markkinen being out at the beginning of the season,
yeah,
they don't really have they have like I think Zach Levine is going to have his best season yet this
yeah,
season,
and
and I think he's going to win Most
yeah,
Improved. That's my opinion because
uh,
he has, as a player, developed the ability to take better shots and
yeah,
not be as much of a shooter and be play to with his the amount of athleticism he
yeah.
has.
So I think the Hornets and the Pacers will fight for the 9-10 seed and a spot in the playoffs.
Hornet, no, you had Pacers at
Oh,
four.
sorry, Hornets, Pistons. I think the Knicks have the potential, but they want to tank one more year because Kristaps is playing hurt all season. Is hurt for most of the season. So I just say don't play Kristaps at all and just let your young guys develop. I love Kevin Knox.
Yeah,
I think he'll be real good. And that's
I
pretty
feel,
much it. I think the Hawks will be the worst in the conference. I think Trey Young will play good. They just need some more time. I bet they trade Kent Bazemore to a contender because Kent Bazemore is a very good 3-and-D player.
what
So,
I think happens is Hawks take second to last seed, 14th. Not second seed, my B. Second to last seed, so
yeah,
14th. And Nets will again try get that last seed. But the reason why I think the Hawks don't get last is because of Trey Young.
yeah. I know you're high in the Trey Young wagon.
This is my outrageous prediction, dude.
Well,
Trey
wait
Young's gonna
for it.
win
Wait
rookie.
for it. We'll talk about that later.
Mm,
I know. So
so
all
do we
right.
have like awards next?
Yeah, we're gonna do awards next. We're gonna start with MVP, of course.
Giannis.
You're going big with Giannis. Well, give four.
Giannis
Give
Antetokounmpo.
four people that you have in the running.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Hmm.
Um, if not Giannis, I think it's going to be. I think Kyrie is going to have a breakout season. Like
He can't have a breakout
out,
season. He's
out.
a superstar.
No, like he's going to be insane. Like
We'll
he's
see.
going to be like a 30. He's gonna. I think
He
he's
doesn't
gonna
need to
get up
score
to.
that much, though. Everyone on that team can score.
Yeah, they can. He can score, but
That's fair.
he's going to. He is going to be the guy who's going to lead them to the first seed and lead them to the finals.
And then give two more.
And then also I have oh shoot, that's tough.
I just go LeBron
Um
and Harden. LeBron will just play out, and Harden will score 30 points a game because they need him to because they only play like 9 players in those games.
yeah, what I think is a possibility is
Oh, Davis too. Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis, but I think if um I don't know. Did you see how the Thunder played against the Warriors last night?
Yeah. You're,
They actually did really good.
you're gonna pick PG.
Paul George.
Okay. Um.
It's crazy, yes, I know.
So
But like
no, it's okay. I have a dark horse too. So
cuz if you think about it, Paul George for the first 20 games could
mhm,
carry his team. So I
yeah,
think he has the ability to carry his team to like if Westbrook's out for 20 games, 12-8 or like 14-6.
yeah. We'll see how they do. So for me, my four picks, I got Giannis, Kawhi, Harden, and LeBron. Of course, another one after that is I got AD. And my dark horse pick is Mitchell because I think
Okay, you
it's a
Jazz
it's a
fan.
it's a little biased, I will admit, but I mean, if he goes out and scores 25 to 28 points a game, and they go and get the second seed, it's hard not giving it to him
It is. It's easy not to give it to him.
as well. But if you go out and you score 28 points a game, and you get second in the Western Conference. That's
If you
pretty
go,
good.
I guarantee you, LeBron will score 27 points a game, have like average like maybe 10 rebounds, and have like 7 assists or something around those numbers, and he's not even going to be contender. And
Yeah.
unless unless he can his brings the Lakers to a high seed like a second or first seed, which will not happen.
Yeah.
So scoring, I feel like it's harder, especially with the fact that he he has the help from defense from
Hmm.
Rudy Gobert, so he's going to make his team look a lot
Yeah.
better, and
That's
it's
one
not
thing.
just going to
That
be
was one storyline I hated last season. Is everyone saying that Donovan Mitchell is the only reason that they made the playoffs?
no, that's not true.
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert is
Yeah.
their I think Rudy Gobert is their best player,
Yeah, I think so too.
and then it goes Donovan Mitchell after that.
Yeah. And then I'll talk more about the Jazz later, as when we start getting to the playoffs, when we go round by round. But we'll get to that later. So now we'll do rookie of the year. You already said
Trey
you
Young.
got Trey Young.
Trey Young.
I think it'll be.
Haters can
I think.
haters can hate. Haters will hate. Trey Young is going to get 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds a game, and win Rookie of the Year.
See, I think. Uh, well, we'll have to see what Doncic does because they traded Doncic for him on the draft day. So we'll
Draft day.
see. I think Doncic. For me, my four are Doncic, Bagley, Aiton, and Trey Young. I think Aiton wins it, but I think all of them have a chance. Well,
Yep.
Kevin Knox also. Kevin Knox can go out and score. He.
I don't think Kevin Knox has a chance at Rookie of the Year, but he has a chance of like, um, what is it? Most surprising player of the year.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, you got Aiton. No, I got Aiton. You got Young. I think an argument for any of them is good. Um. Doncic plays for Rick Carlisle though, and so that's just he plays for Rick Carlisle. The rest of them don't really have great coaches. Um. Now we're gonna do six man of the year. Um.
um,
In the running, you
Dennis
got
Schroeder,
Eric Gordon. Yeah, Dennis Schroeder's a good one.
because I think he is going to dominate coming off the bench for the Warriors when he does. I mean, for the
Yeah.
Thunder when
So,
he does.
like I said, this is going to be a small bias pick. I think Jay Crowder, just because Jay Crowder is a motor player. Every team has their motor player, but he comes off the bench and he plays defense. His 3-point shot's never gonna. I don't think it'll ever come back, but I think he does enough to really help. Like for me, it's like if it's my third. I think it's gonna go to Eric Gordon or Schroeder, but Schroeder. But I think like between Thabo and Jay Crowder, whichever one of those you want to say, who's ever's going to be number 6 for the Jazz, I think we'll just it because it's going to be a small forward playing the 4.
Yeah.
I just think that whatever they do will impact that team enough, and then I don't really know anyone else. I think it depends if Lou Will starts enough games or not, because I love Sweet Lou.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how many games he starts. So. Um, Defensive Player of the Year.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Rudy, of course, because he's my man. But like, also they're just he is the makes the Jazz the best defensive team when he plays. And I mean, to be fair, people don't get Derek Favors enough credit or Ingles, Rubio, Mitchell because they're all great defenders. I think Mitchell finished ninth in defensive rating, and Ingles finished 20th in defensive rating. That's just me
Yeah.
knowing stats. So that whole team's a good defender, but so I got my picks are Rudy, Kawhi, AD, and Green. Any of that or Horford as well. Any of them could win Defensive Player of the Year. So
For me, I have because he hasn't played for a year. Kawhi Leonard, I think he's going to come back and be defensive stud.
yeah, I don't think
But
he gets it though.
if it's not going to be Kawhi Leonard, I think it's going to be um shoot.
Oh, Drew Holiday is another one I've seen people say.
Yeah.
I just
Um
don't see that
if
though.
it's not going to be Kawhi, I'm going to give it to Rudy Gobert. It depends. It really depends on Rudy Gobert,
Yeah,
on how him and his injuries play out, if he
yeah.
gets any,
Well, like I said,
and
he missed
also
30 games and still got it last year. So We'll see.
It's just tough. It's tough.
It's tough. We have a bunch of really good defenders. Like so, I listed two centers and no three centers and a power forward and a small forward. So
Yeah.
I picked them big. Coach of the year,
Finally, it's going to be Brad Stevens.
is it? But I'm
Yep.
stuck between Stevens and Snyder, Quinn Snyder.
Of course you are.
Well, the thing about Quinn Snyder though is he is a fantastic coach. It doesn't matter what team he's on. He's a fantastic coach.
Yep.
So I think it'll probably go to Stevens. Nick Nurse is one of them. His first year coaching in the NBA. He's the guy for the Raptors, and then D'Antoni.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I got. I don't really see anyone else doing anything. And then we got most improved player.
Coach of the year. Hold on. My second coach of the year is
Mhm.
Luke Walton.
We'll see. We'll have to take a brain check on that one. I agree with you though.
Luke Walton.
Um, most improved player, Miles Turner. Miles Turner
Like,
took the Oladipo route. I don't know if you saw the pictures of him. What he took two pictures of him. One after when they lost to the Cavs in the playoffs, after
you're
the
gonna have.
whole offseason ended, and then before. And I just think Miles Turner, Victor Oladipo his body. He went from a little chubby, and still in good shape, but not great shape, to being,
Yeah.
you know, I think it'll be Turner.
So, like I said before, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be Zach Levine or Tobias Harris
I would love for it to be Tobias Harris. He's actually one of my favorite players.
because as his career has gone on, he has done nothing but improved.
He's a good
And
rebounder. He plays good defense. He has good
and
court vision.
about him is that he himself is now, I think, the number one scoring option in
I
LA.
think so as well for the Clippers. I
And
think.
he is going, I think he could average, if he wants to, 22 to 24 points a game.
I agree.
And then,
They got a
like,
great pick too in Shai Gilgeous Alexander. I think that was a great pick for the Clippers. Oh, and they
yeah.
finally traded Austin Rivers. Thank God. Um, so now we're gonna go to the playoffs. Um, so the Warriors will beat whoever they play. So I'm pretty much just gonna give you who I think will go into the second round of the Western Conference. It's Jazz, Warriors, Rockets, and then I'm not sure who's gonna be the other one.
So in my second round, Warriors, Rockets, uh, shoot, this is tough. Wait, I think the Pelicans will make it into the second round,
Yeah, I could see a
and then
great
Jazz.
a great series would be Pelicans versus Jazz. If I'm being honest, I
Hmm.
think that'd be a great second round series, and whoever wins that will face whoever's better, the Rockets and Warriors. It's gonna be the Warriors, but and then Warriors are gonna make it to the finals. They're just too talented, and Boogie will be back, and there's just no way that they don't. And then Eastern Conference Finals, I'm, I just think it's gonna be Sixers, not Sixers, Raptors Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. What do you think?
No,
Really? You think it's gonna be Sixers Celtics?
if it depends. If the Celtics, I mean, if the Sixers take second seed, it's going to be Celtics 76ers. If the Raptors take second seed, I think it's going to be Celtic Raptors.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, they'll be playing each other in the second round, so whoever wins out of each of them,
Yeah,
as long as as long as Simmons doesn't have a 1 point playoff game, it should be fine.
yeah. I from my Western Conference Finals, this is a long shot.
Hmm.
It's going to be tough, but if the Jazz can do what they did against the Thunder last season in the playoffs,
Hmm.
they will make it to the Western Conference Finals if they're in an even seed.
Yeah. My thing is the best thing that could happen to the Jazz is if the Rockets get the first seed and the Warriors get the fourth seed,
Yeah,
or they get the 2 and 3 seed and Jazz get the first seed. That's the best thing that could happen to them because they only have to play one of them in the conference finals.
yeah.
Because I think any other team in the West they can compete with, the Rockets and the Warriors are the only teams I'm worried about them not competing with.
It
And
would
that's
be nice if they took second and then Warriors got first and then Rockets got third.
yeah, it's
It
still
would be
sick.
like ideal.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I believe the Jazz beat the Rockets in 7 games this year. I think that they
Be-
will have
especially
improved enough to have beaten them in 7 games.
yeah, and especially with the loss of their two
Ariza and Mabamute,
their two good defenders.
and then adding
That,
Melo.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
it
just
all
don't see any way they can stop the Jazz's offense with just Harden.
yeah.
It depends how
It,
healthy CP3 is as well.
yeah, and it
It's,
also depends on if Clint Capella stays up to the same quality player he was last year.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Jazz shut down Harden and CP in a couple of the games in that series
Yeah,
last year.
in the
So
second game,
if they can manage to do that for an entire series, they'll be good to go.
yeah, which was crazy too because it wasn't even the first unit that was well, they played that whole series without Rubio as well. We got to remember that. But they started Royce O'Neal, the undrafted rookie, who ended up playing pretty well for them. And then but Exum came off the bench to lock down Harden at the
Yeah,
end of that second of the game they won. And I think
Mhm.
that's another one. If X there's going to be one guy off the bench for Utah that as long as one of them just plays out, I think Utah will be very good. It's for me. It's like I said. This is bias, of course, but I think like if Exum finally does what he's supposed to do, they'll end up pretty good.
I think if the Jazz have to play the Warriors in the second round, the Western Conference Finals will be Warriors Rockets. But if they play the Rockets, it'll be Jazz Warriors.
I could see that. I was trying not to let bias slip through. I mean it. We'll see. We'll have to see how the season pans out. Um,
finals. Warriors Celtics.
Celtics are gonna win. Celtics will win in 7.
No, they won't for one reason and one reason only. By
KD.
by no, well no, because by the finals, I don't think that the Celtics are going to be 100% healthy.
If the Celtics are 100% healthy, they beat the Warriors.
That's still questionable because
Dude, their bench. It's all about the
no,
bench.
I know, but you have to think about it in the way that the Warriors, their starting five is literally the best starting five in the league once Boogie comes back. And if he comes back, the ability that he was with the Pelicans at the halfway through
If
at
he's
the beginning half
100%
of
when he
last
comes
season,
back.
which if he's 100% when he comes back, and both teams are 100%, the Warriors will win in 6.
I just really can't see anybody overcoming the starting five of the Warriors. I mean, that's
Especially
probably one
they
of
could build they could build such a big lead
Yeah,
over
because
the
they can just outshoot you.
yeah. I mean, that's got to be one of the most powerful starting fives.
their starting
Five
five can
in
all shoot the three
like
ball
this.
consistently
Yeah.
enough to, and also with the fact that four of them or even all five of them, if you jump on their shot, they could blow by you.
Yeah. Well, okay. You also got to think about that.
It's hard.
The Celtics last season, but that's like I said. Rudy Gobert missed 30 games, so that's why they're number one. But they had the number one defense in the NBA last season. I think
Yeah.
Horford can defend Cousins to an extent because Horford can
Okay.
run out on the perimeter. Um,
Who do you think will guard KD?
it's they're gonna have to make Tatum do it because no, Hayward's gonna guard KD, and Hayward's not a bad defender. It's just it's not gonna work out because it's a 7 foot freak against a 6'7", 6'8" white guy.
Six, 8, I believe.
So
But yes, but the fact of the matter is, Hayward will not be quick enough, and also KD could jump up and shoot his jump shot higher than Gordon Hayward can jump up and hit the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
So the
I,
fact that and
yeah.
with the fact that KD can step 10, still like 5 to 10 feet behind the 3 point arc and hit a pull up J is terrifying. Same with Steph and Clay if he wants, he can shoot the ball deep. It's absolutely terrifying, and they're going to have to come up with a solution to
Yeah.
guard the three ball without giving up open lanes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys are talking. It's only Golden State's offense that's good, but you have to remember it's not just their offense.
No,
That's
they do.
their offense is outstanding, but they can play
Last
defense
they
too.
they can. Boogie will make their defense rating worse
Defensive
this year,
takes.
but like KD is a fantastic rim protector because he's athletic, agile, and can get up there. Draymond
And
Green is fantastic.
he's defensive player of the year last year, or 2 years ago, I guess. 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
I mean, I
And
didn't
then
think it should have been him, but and then Clay's a great defender as well.
Curry slacks, but he can pick it up when he needs to.
Yeah.
I don't
He
think he
can
can guard Kyrie. He can't
he can
guard
make the
Kyrie.
occasional defensive play though.
Cousins
Yes.
though, Cousins is a liability on defense, but he's so good offensively that it doesn't
It
matter.
depends. It depends if Steve Kerr rips him a new one about it. Because
Yeah.
no coach has ever wanted to get mad at Boogie Cousins like he should be, like they should, because since he is such a good player, they don't want him to leave.
Yeah.
But with Steve Kerr,
The Warriors don't give a fuck.
yeah, with the team that they have right now, a loss of Boogie Cousins isn't a big deal.
Yeah, I
It
mean
would be
before he was
exactly what
always
they
one of
had
the
last year.
he was always the best or second best player on the team. Like you didn't want to lose him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes down to if if Boogie Cousins can develop DeMarcus Cousins can develop a defensive trait in his body,
Because he's got the body for it.
if he
He doesn't
is
have the lateral
smart,
movement, but he's got the big body and long
he
arms.
also doesn't have the intelligence defensively.
Yeah.
Offensively, he's like one of the smartest bigs.
Yeah.
But defensively is another story.
Um, it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I think we'll see some good playoff series. Um, we gotta look at the same thing. The Warriors starting five is just so fantastic, and that they can outscore anybody. It's you could say the
And
same thing about the Rockets, that they can just outshoot everybody.
but here's the thing about everyone's overlooking with the Warriors. They don't have too bad of a bench. Quinn
No,
Cook,
Jordan Bell is real good.
Jordan Bell is a good defensive guy, and
Kevon
he can
Looney,
score the ball. Looney's going to be good. Quinn Cook is nice.
yeah. I know
Quinn
they
Cook
lost Ian
is
Clark.
a good Quinn Cook is a good shooter who can also drive to the rim.
Yeah,
But the reason it's going to be hard for him to drive to the rim because he's pretty short.
yeah.
But he can shoot the ball, and I'm not sure he's kind of like Isaiah Thomas.
That's another one I forgot to mention for six man, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, I see that.
But so one thing, so I'm gonna gush a little bit about my favorite team. Um, I think the Jazz will make the biggest improvement this season, and by biggest improvement, they're gonna go from just a very solid team to one of the top five, maybe even top four, if they can outdo the Raptors. Um, I just I think they're deep enough and have the players with the talent to do it. They just have to do it, and they all have to be healthy. That's why
Yeah.
that's why I picked Mitchell as my dark horse for MVP. Because if he goes out and he scores that many points per game, shoots better percentages, which his percentages last season were good for a rookie. If he can increase upon that, because he set the rookie record for most threes in the season. So if he can improve upon what he did and then be more efficient,
Yeah.
and I think Grayson Allen it was a very good fit for them.
A lot of people don't think he's going to be good, but I say he has potential.
I think so. He's
But
just a little
he
too
he
streaky right now.
the thing I think about Grayson Allen is he is a what's it? He is a volcano.
Yes.
He will blow up and he will get in a lot of trouble. But what he needs to do is learn from
I think he needs to
Gobert
learn.
and Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, I think he needs to. So I was reading because I read up on all the NBA news. So, and when you get a new rookie on your team, you become somebody's rookie. And for Allen, it was Jay Crowder. And I think
Yeah.
Jay Crowder and Allen are very similar in how they played the game with their
Yeah.
emotions. I think they're both motor players
Mm-hmm.
and keep the engine running for their team. And so we'll see how that works out. I don't see him getting a lot of time because they have some pretty decent backup guards, but he'll play some minutes and he'll go in and shoot threes. So
Yeah.
uh, the Celtics are just so deep, man. I don't know. I,
They're deep, but also the thing you gotta worry about is with the Celtics and there's are they how long are they gonna stay deep? Because
yeah. Well,
the
Rozier's
fact
gone next season, so this is their window. Rozier's not coming back,
yeah,
so they have to win this season, or well, if it depends who the Warriors lose. Because I think KD's gone. He did what he needed to do. He won a championship every season since he came
if
there,
he wins 3 years in a row, he's gonna leave.
and three
He
Finals
doesn't
MVPs. He'll leave.
he may not honestly, I think what he should do, this is all coming out of my dream journal. He stays with the Warriors, wins championships. In 2021, Supersonics come back, and he comes back for the Supersonics. That's like a dream journal, an unrealistic future,
Yeah.
but
Well,
that's what I want to happen.
we got either a team's got to move or there's got to be an expansion draft
And
for that
the
to
fact
happen. And
for an expansion draft, we're not going to want the team that we get because they're all going to be booty players. They're all going to be
well, no, you
the
can only
team.
keep. I think you can only keep 6 to 8 players. So the Warriors would have to pick 6, and the
And
Jazz
they
would
would,
have to pick 6.
and
So
everybody would pick the starting five and then one of those 6 man,
yeah,
which the guys that you would want on your team, they're all taken up in those 6 slots.
yeah,
So
we'll
it's
see.
tough.
I think Memphis might be gone soon. I don't think Memphis stays in Memphis any longer.
I think it's either Memphis is going to skedaddle, or it's going to be the Kings.
Yeah, but everyone thought it's going to be the Kings for years. I would like to see that happen. You know why LeBron signed a 4 year?
So he could finish his career off in the NBA.
No, because he's going to wait to find out where his son gets drafted to, and he's going to go play with them.
His son,
We'll be in the league in 4 years.
no.
Yeah,
I thought his son's an 8th grader.
no,
Bronny James, I swear to God.
no. He's got 3 years of high school left and then a year of college, as long as his dad's contract is. So LeBron James will be with the Lakers, and then he's going to go play with his son, wherever that may be.
Is Bronny James his oldest son?
Uh, LeBron James Jr., whoever his oldest son is. I know he's got 2 sons and a daughter, I believe.
He is 13 right now.
Is he?
His birthday is October 6th, 2004.
Okay.
And
So
he was 11 as the year of 2006. Well, no, that would make sense if he. No, he should be. He should be 14. My bad.
so he's 14 this year, which means
So
he's a
he's a
freshman in high
freshman.
school.
So he has 4 years of high school,
Okay. So LeBron
and
James
then
will do 4 years and then sign a 1 year and then go play with the son.
seems
But
realistic.
I but so we made our predictions. There were some disagreements. We had the finals the same. We were different on who's gonna win, but we were pretty similar throughout. Um, so that's it. So it was great having you, Deke, and we'll do this again sometime soon.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.